Urgent Niners fan! Look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Niners news. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. NFL Mock Draft 49ers. Make a bold selection. With 11th pick drafting this offensive tackle with the 11th pick would be a bold move by the 49ers. The 49ers can go in several directions with the 11th pick in the NFL draft. There is no telling which direction they will take. One of them can lead them to an offensive tackle. I'm fully against the 49ers taking an offensive tackle with the 11th pick. However, it's on very well on the table for them to find Trent Williams' future replacement or to upgrade from Colton McKivitz. That is exactly what Pro Football Network did in their latest mock draft. They have the 49ers making a bold selection by taking Texas offensive tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. with the 11th pick. There is a wide range of outcomes for Kelvin Banks, with draft analysts conflicted about his ranking, but most think he has the potential to be a high selection and likely be drafted higher than his value. At 6'4" and 325 pounds, the Texas left tackle is a smooth athlete, has strong hands, and is agile in space. However, he needs to work on his footwork in the run game, so Banks has the potential to play guard as a rookie while also being the successor at left tackle for San Francisco. Banks being a bold draft selection was perfectly summed up by Pro Football Network's explanation of taking him. There is no consensus on where he will be drafted. He's a prospect that is all over the place in mock drafts and analysis. Our 49ers on SI writer Tom Jensen envisions Banks as a guard as opposed to a tackle. I share some of Jensen's perspective, which is why it is a bold selection to take Banks with the 11th pick. The 49ers should only go for an offensive tackle if it is Armand Membo. If he isn't there, then they should pass on an offensive tackle and look for a more impactful player who can aid them immediately. Pausing this news, just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Niners news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. 49ers instantly replaced Dre Greenlaw in latest offseason free agency pitch low risk, high reward. The 49ers could add an inexpensive yet quality linebacker to immediately fill the void left by Dre Greenlaw's free agent departure. In an ideal world, the San Francisco 49ers would replace now Denver Broncos linebacker via the same means they acquired him in the first place, using a Day 3 NFL draft pick on a player. 31 other teams overlooked up to that point, then turning said player into a star in year one. Of course, following that same course of action isn't exactly easy. Despite being one of the many fifth-round gems the Niners have identified in recent years, replicating Greenlaw's ascent in the 2025 draft is far from a sure thing, especially considering San Francisco boasts a plethora of other roster needs following a major offseason exodus of talent, including Greenlaw. True, the 49ers are aiming to get both younger and cheaper entering 2025, and the draft is an excellent means to do so. However, considering the context, it might be wise for the Niners to shore up roster holes by grabbing some low-budget free agents. And there's one name linked to San Francisco who might be able to immediately replace Greenlaw. PFN tabs Jalen Ramsey as 49ers' ideal replacement for Dre Greenlaw Pro Football Networks. Mark Stolt compiled a list of the one free agent each team could sign right now to bolster their respective rosters. For the 49ers, the player selected was Jalen Ramsey, a 30-year-old veteran linebacker who spent 7 of his 8 pro seasons with the Detroit Lions, interrupted by a one-year stint with the Houston Texans in 2022. A 2023 Pro Bowler, Maben encompasses many of the traits Greenlaw took with him to the AFC West. As Stolt described, in his limited playing time the last 2 seasons on the Lions, Jalen Ramsey has been solid in different areas at the linebacker position. In 2023, he graded out as one of the best run defenders with a missed tackle rate of 9, 3/53rd 90. In 2024, he graded out as a solid coverage linebacker, allowing just 13 catches on 108 coverage snaps. He would add some much-needed depth behind star linebacker Fred Warner. Sure, Ramsey doesn't exactly fit the bill when it comes to getting on the younger side, but the Niners aren't going to be able to solve every available roster hole strictly through the draft, and relying too heavily on rookie talent is a risky proposition anyway. It's possible San Francisco is already eyeing Ramsey as a contingency plan, should it not land its preferred Greenlaw replacement over the course of the draft beginning on April 24th. and there's a better-than-good chance the former would arrive on a relatively affordable deal too. If so, the 49ers likely don't view the former Tennessee standout as anything more than a quick stopgap option to pair with Warner until someone younger and Greenlaw-esque could be ushered into the fray.
In the interim, Reeves-Maybin makes a lot of sense. 49ers may have perfect Dre Greenlaw replacement in UCLA walk-on linebacker. Dre Greenlaw's replacement might be lined up for the Niners already, probably the biggest offseason departure for the San Francisco 49ers has been linebacker Dre Greenlaw. The difference he made on the field for San Francisco was palpable, so losing him is really going to sting. The Niners may be able to get a solid replacement in the NFL draft, though. UCLA walk-on Carson Schwesinger opened a lot of eyes in his senior year for the Bruins. He recorded 90 solo tackles while sacking the quarterback 4 times and getting 2 interceptions. That was a big jump from a 2023 that saw him record just 6 solo tackles. The 6'2", 242-pound California native had an impressive showing at the NFL Scouting Combine. He ranked first among linebackers according to NFL.com's production score and received the second highest total score for linebackers. What he put on tape in college is impressive as well. A video compilation of his highlights from last season showcases his speed in pursuit of the quarterback on some impressive sacks. One of his 2 interceptions came on a diving play where he showed off his athleticism to create a turnover. He also had a special teams highlight with a blocked punt along with some impressive open field tackles on 3rd down where he prevented the ball carrier from reaching the sticks. Carson Schwesinger is an ideal Dre Greenlaw replacement, according to NFL Draft Buzz. He would be an ideal fit in a 43 defensive scheme because it would allow him to play in space more rather than take on blocks directly, which may be a challenge for him. 43 just so happens to be the scheme San Francisco has run ever since Robert Saleh became the defensive coordinator in 2017. It is not going to be an easy task replacing the hole left by Greenlaw in the middle of the defense. Thankfully, San Francisco still has one of the best linebackers in the game in Fred Warner. There are some internal options to address the need at linebacker, but it makes sense to add another linebacker via the draft. Bleacher Report projects Schwesinger to go in the 3rd round. The 49ers have 2 third-round picks this year, so perhaps they can snag him using either their 75th overall or 100th overall pick. No one player is going to fill the hole left by Greenlaw. Yet the UCLA product could be an important part of a committee of players who try and fill some of the gap left by him at the linebacker position if the Niners end up drafting him later this month. All-Pro corner hits trade market at perfect. Time for 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers lost a Pro Bowl caliber cornerback this offseason with the departure of Charvarius Ward in free agency. With a draft class full of top corners, the 49ers wouldn't be wrong to wait to draft his replacement early in the 2025 selection process. There is another option, though, one that opened up Tuesday morning with the Miami Dolphins announcement that they will be looking to trade All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey, one of the top defensive players in the league, is about to hit the trade market. We decided it was probably in the best interest for all parties to move forward separately. Dolphins. General Manager Chris Greer stated Tuesday afternoon in a press conference following the announcement. Ramsey is a no-brainer for a team like the 49ers. They have a clear need at the position, an obvious path to solving that need, and the draft capital to move up or down throughout the process, even if it means giving up draft capital to acquire a player like Ramsey. While the former top pick only reached a single Pro Bowl with the Dolphins, few cornerbacks have been as consistently as much of a lockdown as the former Jaguar and Ram has been throughout his career. Has the kind of player that the 49ers desperately need to bounce back from their dismal 6-11 campaign, and he's got the swagger to get them back into championship title contention right away. Which 49ers pass rusher will make the biggest jump in 2025? The 49ers aren't bringing back most of their defensive line who played last season. Of the players who are returning, who will improve the most in 2025? The San Francisco 49ers released Leonard Floyd, Javon Hargrave, and Malik Collins this offseason. That's everyone besides Nick Bosa among the starters. We know the Niners are going to draft multiple defensive linemen a week from now. It's unlikely that the Niners go into a season with 3 rookies starting next to Bosa, which brings us to our question of the day. Which 49ers pass rusher will make the biggest jump in 2025? Yetur Gross-Matos, Sam Okwainonu, Kalia Davis, and Drake Jackson? Those are the players we're talking about.
Evan Anderson likely deserves to be in the conversation, as he showed promising traits. Gross-Matos will likely have the most opportunities. The former second-rounder didn't start a game last season, but consistently played around 35 snaps a game. The production wasn't great, and he missed more tackles than you'd like for an edge rusher. Still, Gross-Matos caused just enough disruption for a player who missed a substantial amount of time to make you think he'd improve, as most players do, in year 2 under Chris Kocherek. Okwainonu earned more playing time after making splash plays. During the first month of the season, his production tailed off in December, but with how hard Samo plays, it's easy to picture him blossoming as he figures out what he can and can't get away with in the 49ers scheme. Okwainonu is my pick. Both players have accomplished more than Jackson, who had 3 sacks in a game, but has been either injured or a ghost for much of his career. With a year under his belt, I think Anderson can be a player the 49ers use in rotation. Of course, you'd like him to be a player who gives you 20-ish snaps a game. If the 49ers draft a pair of defensive tackles and put Anderson in a role where he's not expected to play starter-level snaps, it'll benefit the second-year pro. Less is more with Anderson. Which 49ers pass rusher do you think will make the biggest jump in 2025? Vote below and let us know in the comments. And now, Niners fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Niners. I'll be back any moment with more Niners news.